What's up, guys? We are back, CIC Interviews. I'm your host, Brian Bafford. This is our technical producer, but now host for the episode, Ging, Dylan Hostetter. Introduce yourself.
How you guys doing? Usually I'm behind the camera, but Liam isn't here today, so I thought I'd step in. And we're with our good friend Jason, so
what's going on?
It's a good time.
Today we're going to be interviewing his Saab. Can you tell me a little bit about this thing? What's the model exactly? Because I don't know Saabs whatsoever.
This right here we got is this 2010 Saab 9.3, the 2-liter turbo.
So to get right into it, what all do you have done to this thing? Whether it's performance, cosmetics, anything like that?
Well, cosmetic wise, I just got the 18 TSW wheels, tint, a couple banners, stupid shit. Performance wise, we got BSR cold air intake, little bigger upgraded turbo. It's a 19T. Got 3-inch downpipe to 2 3/4 inch straight pipe, back out to another 3-inch blast pipe.
Same blast pipes I cut my leg on.
Yeah, they're sharp. It's tuned, so fucking right.
So to get right into your performance, do you mind popping the hood?
We'll pop her. We can pop her. In here.
Ooh.
Yeah, so pretty much bone stock, can't see much. Intake, big old slug back there.
And then private jet right here.
Private jet right there.
This is the PJ.
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. So we're gonna be hopping in the car and we'll continue the interview after.
Let's do it. Put your fucking seatbelt on. This thing gets fucking rowdy, I'll tell you what. Put that in there too. Put that part in there. Clip that. Hey, clip that.
So we're in Jason's car now. We're gonna be finishing the rest of the interview inside. Just because, you know, I haven't been in the car in a while since you got in the tune, so I wanted to see how much of a difference it's been. So if you want to talk a little bit about how much you're getting to the wheel, I mean, what's the difference like after the tune?
Yeah, so basically, before everything recently was all said and done with the new turbo, downpipe and everything, it is the same tune I was running before, but when it was tuned before, for all stock, it was probably pushing like anywhere from 220 to 230 to the wheel, and now if I had to guess, it's probably pushing close to like 300 to the wheel, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. Never really gotten a dynoed to see, which I would like to do eventually. Maybe get it re-dyno tuned, get a little bit, you know, a little more power out, because there can be more power out of it. I have bigger fuel injectors and a bigger fuel pump, but as of right now, I can't find anybody that can tune it for that without blowing it up, because it is at 155,000 miles, which usually Saabs end up shitting out at around 100,000 miles, so I'm lucky to even have made it this far.
So I know that you went through a little bit of a conundrum with the guy that made you drive all the way out to where he was.
Yep, that's
just for you to not get it tuned more.
That's what I'm talking about. So the guy who works on my car frequently had sent me to that guy and said that he was the best tuner he knew. Does a lot. All he does is tune Saabs, and I took it to him, and he had no knowledge that I already had a pre-existing like ECU tune on it, which was literally like the same thing that he already had. So he went to tune it, and once he tuned it and I drove it, everything felt the exact same, and it just, he told me that with the injectors and fuel pump, he could tune it, but it would take him so long to figure out how to get everything perfect that he just didn't even want to deal with it. So honestly, bad business on his part, because I was willing to pay whatever he was going to charge me for however long it took, but he just said he didn't feel like messing with it.
So if this guy's watching, what would you like to say?
Seriously, if this guy's watching, fuck you. I drove 2 hours. I wasted a full... This thing's not... Let's get into that. This thing's not the greatest on gas. So I literally wasted a full tank of gas. It's a 2-hour drive, so 4 hours round trip. Full tank of gas, $40, because, you know, premium gas, because this thing's a fucking beast. But, yeah, fuck him if he's watching.
So you were saying that Saab shits on people, like, around 100,000 miles.
Yeah, around 100,000 miles, I've heard that they just have, like, a lot of electrical problems, which, once you start having electrical problems that, like, inhibit your driving, it's just not, you gotta get rid of it. It's not worth it.
Okay, so to get into that a little bit, you know, Saab is a little bit of a unique kind of car. You don't see it a lot. I mean, you don't see it a lot in general, but you also don't see it a lot, like, people building them.
Right.
You know, I grew up with, yeah, my sister's friend in high school built one that was, like, pretty cool, and I knew it from them, but that you're the first person since then in 10 years that I've seen someone, like, at least locally do it.
Right. I mean, it makes sense only because not only is it a hard car to find that's, like, in good condition and somewhat new, because they did stop making them, I think, in 2012 or 2013, but it's probably one of the hardest platforms to find parts for. They don't make the downpipe that I have on it right now. The guy made it. It's not like, I mean, I'm sure they sell downpipes for it, but that would be like $700 or $800 that I don't feel like spending.
Exactly, because, you know, not a lot of people are buying them, so they're gonna have to raise their prices a little bit.
Yeah, and if you look up, like, modifications for a Saab on YouTube, a lot of the videos you'll get are, like, do-it-yourself videos. Like, you make a lot of the stuff for, like, yourself. Like, you can make, I mean, I'm sure you can do it for any car, but, like, I know a lot of people make their own cold air intakes for this car, which is weird.
It's all, like, custom stuff.
Yeah.
Why did you go with the Saab? Like, did you buy this car with the intention of doing anything to it?
Yeah. Well, when I was looking for my first car, I knew I wanted something that was, you know, respectable, cool, somewhat fast, and I went to, believe it or not, the Honda dealership, and I saw this car sitting there, and I noticed that it came stock with, like, the taillights. You'll see in the video that they're, like, a little bit, like, tinted already, and I saw that it was a turboed car, and I just knew that any car with a turbo is a pretty good platform to start doing stuff to. So
yeah, for sure. So was there anything else in mind that you wanted over a Saab, or? Because you've had this car for 5 years now, right?
Yeah. I mean, there was nothing, when I went to look for a car, I really didn't have anything in mind. I did actually really want a 2007 Acura TL Type S, because I had already, well, my dad had one when I was, like, way younger, and I knew it was cool and pretty fast. I mean, they come stock with, like, 290 horsepower, and if you just get an exhaust and a tune for that thing, they're pretty quick cars. And I know a lot of people take that platform and boost it. Dude, fuck you. I know a lot of people take that platform and boost it, so I was thinking about doing that, but then I found a car that was already turboed, so I just went with this.
So if you haven't noticed yet, Jason isn't shifting.
Yeah, go ahead and point out the fact that it's an automatic, because also,
do you want a manual?
Yeah, let's get into that. So when I was looking for my first car, I wasn't fully into the car scene yet. I didn't really know that not getting a manual would give me a lot of shit, and trust me, I get it from I lead with that now. Like, when people ask me about my car, the first thing I say is, don't get too excited because it's an automatic, which doesn't really bother me that much because it does have Tiptronic, so I can be in whatever gear I want to be. And it actually, the majority of the cars that I've been in that have, like, a sport mode or, like, paddle shifters that give you the option to shift when you want to, I don't think they work as well as mine. Like, mine, when you hit to the next gear, it actually goes right away. Like, there's no, like, hesitation with anything. Like, nothing's, like, too hard to figure out. Like, everything's just, like, right away. Like, if I want to downshift, I can downshift, and I can even, like, when I hit to downshift, I can give it a little bit of gas, and it'll sound like I'm rev matching.
Yeah.
So, you know, I can trick people and make everybody think it's manual if they're not inside the car. But
I get that. Yeah, because I drove my sister's boyfriend's Camaro ZL1 or whatever, and it had paddle shifters. And I just, tried it out one day.
And don't you feel like when you shift, it takes a
like
second?
Yeah,
mine is like if I shift, it's into the next gear like almost right away. It's not as good as like the DSG shit and like GTI, like automatic GTIs that have like the dual clutch, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
That shift right into the next gear, but it's like probably the closest thing that I've ever been into that.
Well, that's definitely a cool part about like I don't try to crap on you for having an automatic too much, because I know at this point your car can just destroy my car in a race anyway. So, but it's definitely a cool part that like you're not fully, you're automatic, but you're not full, like you're not.
Right. And the other cool thing about it is that I know a lot of cars, sports modes, like they have like a sport mode. Everybody, like all the people who don't really know anything about cars are like, oh, my car is a sport mode. Like typically a sport mode in a car, what it does is just allows it to ride the RPMs out harder so you can get more of each gear. Mine actually completely changes the fuel maps, and when I put it into sport mode, it dumps more fuel into it.
Okay.
You actually think it's faster than your car?
Yeah. I mean, like, mine's probably getting after. I mean, with my stratified tune, I mean, it's not just made for pops. It's like, which I thought it was, but it's actually more performance.
You bought a tune that you thought was just made for pops?
Pretty much, yeah. I didn't know too much about it. I just know that a lot of people wanted me to get it.
Really?
And I still haven't really data logged for it yet, so I can't use it that much, or I'm running too rich. And I threw a couple codes, so, but ever since I went back to stage 2, I'm like, wow, like, the performance, like, just the quickness in this car is not up to speed as it was when I had that tune on. But, I mean, it's probably getting, like, 260, 270 if I had to guess. I'm probably wrong. Damn.
Is it quick?
Yes, it's quick. Holy shit. That was a raw reaction. Because I haven't been in this car since before you got the new turbo.
Okay, this will probably ruin the video, but here, I'll get you some. I got a crackle tune too. Oh, I'll get it to pop out a second.
I can feel your bald tires just going through.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
let's get back to any more video stuff if you want. If you got any other questions or things.
do you have anything you want to say?
I'm trying to think of things that we haven't hit on. Like, I feel like there's not that much. So,
I mean, this has been a really good episode. You're definitely a character that is very easy to interview, because you always want a good time.
Oh yeah.
That's what you made this video. So I guess we'll wrap it up there. Thank you for being on the show.
Absolutely, man. Once you get 1 million followers, I want my paycheck out of this.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. This is Jason. Go follow him on Instagram at Jason Eckert.
I think it's Jason_Eckert. I really don't know. You don't have to follow me if you don't want to. Look it up. You'll find it. It's just Jason Eckert.
And catch us next week. Like, subscribe, put on your push notifications.
Do it all. Everything. I want you to do it all.
Follow us on Instagram at CIC Interviews. Follow me on Instagram at Ep11. Follow Liam at Liam_Marcelino. And we'll see you guys next week.
You didn't say follow Gate. Fuck Gate.